Welcome, Vino Virtuosos. We are joined today by special guest Danny Baker. Danny works with one of our favorite distributors in the wine business, and we figured who better to bring in when talking about the culture, especially behind food and beverage and things of that sort in the Greenville world. So welcome in, Danny.
Thanks,
Thank
Danny.
you for having me.
Well, we had just talked about before we started about, have you ever really had a job like that? I think for a wine distributor, especially you, because you're like family to everybody, because you got a Greenville history for a long time.
Thank you.
And that probably means as much to me as anything.
Kelly's all about Greenville.
Yep.
Oh.
That's like, yes, I am.
Well, speaking of that, tell us, Danny, a little bit about your background and your history. I know there's a long history, but the condensed version of,
Sure.
of how'd you end up here with Mission Grape?
Sure. So I grew up in Columbia, South Carolina, and started working in restaurants right after high school.
So he did have a job.
Yeah.
For a little while.
For a little while.
That some people would consider a job. It wasn't a hard job necessarily. But started working in restaurants, and then worked in restaurants while I was at the College of Charleston. And after I graduated and said, okay, I'm not going to work in restaurants anymore. So I worked in a cubicle for about 3 months and realized that was not for me. So after Charleston, I had an opportunity to go to Atlanta and work in hospitality during the Olympics in '96, which was super cool. So
That was a cool time.
did that, and then that was over, and I wound up moving to Greenville in '97 and met Carl and David, who were opening Soby's, and helped open Soby's, and was there for 12 years and wore 100 different hats while I was there. But we had Deborah's and Restaurant O and Lazy Goat, and I managed the apartment for a long time and was the wine director, and it just blossomed and grew into all kinds of fun things.
That was just a fun time to be around here too.
Absolutely.
I put all the appliances and all the kitchen equipment in all those places. So we were all in that same age group to where it was fun seeing it go.
Totally different.
Totally
back
different.
Then. It's a close-knit community, and I'm fortunate to still have some great friends from those days, which I think has helped me grow professionally. Also, just having all those connections and being here through all that growth.
That's funny because, you didn't talk about a formal wine education. So you pretty much just took it on the chin and learned as you went?
It was tough, John, but yes, I did.
A lot of research.
But that's kind of how it happened in the early 90s and stuff.
Absolutely.
I mean,
it's totally
especially in the
different.
South.
It's totally different these days. With things being online, there's access to more information that wasn't there back then. And it wasn't a happening restaurant scene like it is now. And some of the great wines that we can get today weren't available in this market back then.
And the palate wasn't there either, I'm
Absolutely.
sure.
The customer wasn't there.
Yeah, the customer wasn't there.
So to see it grow into what it is today has been really rewarding and really cool to be a part of.
So you went from Deborah, or from working in restaurant to Mission Grape?
No, there were a few stops in between.
Back to a cubicle.
But no
back
more
to a
cubicles. But that pretty much got ruled out for good.
Knew that one was not.
Knew that was not an option. But working with Carl that first summer that we were open, a big group of us went out to California, and that's when the light switch really got flipped, and when I was able to put my shoes in the vineyards and meet the people, that's when the job becomes easy, because you're just telling the story of these people and this place, and there's so much to talk about wine. But when I had the opportunity to visit the places, when I really fell in love with it and tried to figure out, okay, how can I make a career out of this?
But you got to be able to speak wine. I mean, y'all, I know everybody knows I can't. I was like, that white wine has that dunk on it.
She's getting better.
Yeah, I'm getting better.
We're working on it.
But that is amazing. I mean, to me, you got to have that brain for that too, and the love. But you got to be able to speak it too.
That's part of it, but you can develop that language too. It's just putting words with those things, those sensory things that you may not have put words with.
I think the big thing that sets you apart from
The hair.
well, we do have Wine Jesus in the house.
I think that's what sets me.
But is, like you were saying, you've had the opportunity in so many cases, especially the wines that you bring to us at the cook station, is you have gone and visited. You know the winemaker's grandmother's dog's name. You know the story behind the first grape. You know, things like that, and having that connection. You know, it's a bottle of wine. You know, to some people, it's like they may or may not appreciate it, but bringing the story in gives everyone, makes them feel that connection. So they may or may not take a bottle home, but if they do, and there's, you know, then that goes to their table at home. They're sharing that same story about, you know, this was the grandmother's vineyards or whatever it may be. I just think that brings the connection back to everyone and makes them all feel a part of the story. And that's my favorite thing about
that's what it's all about.
Yeah.
That's what it's all about. And that's what wine brings people together, and it's a connector. And it tells a story. It tells the story of what's going on in that time, at that place, in that vintage, and then what the winemaker did with it. And
which is weird because you grew up, you know, 80s, 90s, and all this. So Prohibition comes, they pretty much plow over every grape in America.
Yep.
You know, until Mondavi and maybe Ernest and Julio Gallo in the 50s and 60s. Does wine even really become again into the American culture? I mean, like I grew up in New York, and as an Italian American family, you know, we had more Ernest and Julio Gallo 5-gallon. You know, it was straight Dago red. They would call it that. Sure. Like you would go there, it was just Dago red wine, and we would. There wasn't really, I mean, an American culture. So for a kid from Colombia to get bit by the bug is weird, you know. It's kind of
cool.
And then, you know, to fold back
to have the opportunity to travel to these places and meet these people,
because there isn't an American story
in other places.
It is
has really been special. Has really been able to eat, drink, and travel, and make a living at it at the same time. Yeah. So,
but you know, with that though, you're a really good salesperson too, because you've come in our store and you're your family. I mean, I watched you with Tazia sit there, a girl that was scared to death of wine.
To the point she tried to get out of y'all's meeting.
Yeah, she did. She tried to get out. And you had her eating out of your hands, and she understands. I mean, I know she could speak it if she tried, because she understands food and she understands the thing. But you now have her, I can do wine dinners. Like, I understand this. This is great.
It's all subjective. If you like it, it's good. That's the bottom line with wine. So there's the rest is just details you can figure out.
You can go into as much detail or as little as you need, but I feel like you have a great way of making it pedestrian. Like anyone can feel comfortable getting into it, and you don't have to feel super afraid or stuffy.
The fermented juice of grapes.
Yep.
That's
different grapes from different places. It's not complicated. We can get snooty and go into deep dives of details if you want to, but.
And you hit on another great subject, Danny, talking about wine brings people together. It's about community gathering. And when we've done a few different sessions with Greg and things like that, I think trying to figure out our mission statements and things that we've started to focus on lately, what like makes the cook station, and it's really comes down to community, because you don't have to want to cook or know how to cook, but you can enjoy eating food. It's all about the community table. Absolutely. And wine is a huge part of that. So we're just glad to have you on board helping us along the way.
It's been a great partnership. I've been with Mission Grape, I think this week is 7 years of the 8 years that since Matt started. And it's been exciting to grow into that. But right when the new location was opening, I'd worked with Craig in the past, and as the wine started to become a conversation, he called me up, and it's been an incredible partnership since day one.
And tell us a little bit about Mission,
Yeah.
because there are some very specific things that sets you all apart from a lot of the other distributors.
So after 301, I worked with a big distributor for a short period of time. It was good to see that side of the business and to get some education. It was also kind of humbling going from the big buyer to asking everybody for business and that kind of thing. So that was a good reality check that went a long way. And then I worked with a small distributor that became a big distributor. And then I've been with Nat for 7 years. And really, this is what is these wines and what we do and the way we do it is what's interesting to me now. Having seen the big stuff and the small stuff, and what we do is really small as far as the wineries and the producers that we work with are all small family-owned farms. They all have a big attention to organic and sustainability wine production, which I think is a big trend going towards the way we're going, what people are looking for now, being more conscious of what they're putting in their body, and wines of much more character that are more artisanally made, and we're always on the hunt for the latest and greatest, the new things.
What's your title there? I mean, what do you like? So it's Matt and you. And you got a couple other guys.
And Matt's the owner, I'm a salesperson.
So it's sales. When it comes to picking product, things like that, do you have a say?
Absolutely. Just last week, as a matter of fact, we brought our whole sales team from across the state up to Greenville to our warehouse, and had a bunch of Zoom meetings lined up all afternoon with new California producers. And I don't know, there might have been 75 or 80 wines that afternoon, and five or six different producers that we were interviewing. They were interviewing us, we were tasting the wines, but everybody, has a say in it because we've all got to sell it. And we're not like the big guys. It's not like
this is your portfolio.
They're saying here you should go sell this many boxes of this. Where we have the luxury of being able to say, okay, we've got this. I think Cook Station would be a great fit for this. So finding the right teams, much more, long-term kind of thing. You're finding solutions rather than just moving boxes, and really caring about what's in the box rather than just getting a number of cases out the door. Can try to figure out how we can make it work.
So in gadgets, I'm talking anything cooking, it changes daily because it's all different now. TikTok, between all of that, it changes. I mean, I'm like, oh my God, I got to get this in, I got to do this, and then it's gone the next week, and then I'm on to something else. Is wine in that same?
Probably even more so, because you drink it and then it's done, and then you have the opportunity to buy another one or something completely different.
Then you're hearing out there,
so it could
heard the news.
It could be a one time, and some people figure out what they like. Great. Some people want something different every time. So,
but there's also only a certain amount of the grapes produced in that year in that area. So like there's a X amount in some cases of the wine. So that could be a limitation.
It's so funny because like in New York, we a lot of beer drinkers and stuff, and there were some old guys. I was a Slits guy, and that's all that dude drank from the age of. But can't be the case in wine because the grapes will change, this will change, the weather will change, and I didn't think about that.
Oh, that's like I need to drink a wine right now.
Changing in wine, though, what do you think is one of the biggest trends of 2026 that you've seen?
like I mentioned before, I think going towards more organic and smaller production kind of things. Like if you look at the big numbers of wine in general, it's down a little bit. And if you look at CBD and THC beverages and things like that, and people just being more conscious of it, and the younger generations not drinking as much.
I wondered if that.
So, how can you make it appealing? How can you make wine accessible to them and get them interested in it? But I think it's really what we're doing, working with these small family-owned farms that are intentionally made rather than grocery store wines, which are made to be homogenous, so they're the same vintage after vintage at every Publix, across the country.
How do y'all find, do you start looking around? Does Matt go start calling all, and you're in Italy, or France, or for Champagnes, how do y'all
So
find
yes to all that. Sometimes we go out in search of people, sometimes they come to us in search of that, but more often it's friends connecting friends, people in the industry. So say we know somebody in Barolo and they're like, oh, go see my friend down the road. And then that helps because you already know, okay, we get along, so there's a good chance that we might get along, kind of thing. So
do you feel like you make friends all over?
Absolutely, all over the world, and that's one of the best things about this business is being able to eat, drink, and tell the stories of people from all over.
Never had a real job.
Yeah, that's not.
Not in 37 years anyway. So and I don't intend to.
I know that you'll do. You'll have a lot of your portfolio is West Coast, but you'll do international things. Did y'all have issues with, with tariffs and things? Did that affect the wine business as well?
Question.
Absolutely. So tariffs were a big thing. So we started just before COVID, and COVID turned out to be kind of a big flex for us because we're the only distributor that's located in the Upstate. So we were able to offer service that had never been available to people for more frequent deliveries, where everybody from Charleston was coming up maybe once a week or maybe not, and people didn't know and didn't want to buy big quantities, but we were able to cool, we'll be there every day. I think Scott was at the cook station every day last week.
Yeah.
But
sorry about that.
No, we love that. But we're close by and take advantage of what we're doing. But we're able to bring some cool new things to the table during that time, and it's just progressed on and on since then. And we started out mostly international wines, mostly European wines. And then COVID happened and we couldn't travel to Europe. So we dug into Oregon, which has been a big, strong addition to our portfolio. And that all happened with Hazelfern, who you've had those wines, and they've been in for dinners, and they love coming to South Carolina. But at the time, they had one employee, and she and I were old friends. And that's how that all started. And now we're up to probably 15 wineries that we represent from Oregon, which is a great place to visit if you ever have the opportunity or are looking for a place.
So excuse my ignorance.
Yeah.
So you got California, Oregon, Washington.
Yeah.
Any in the Midwest? Is it too cold? Where is that?
There are. So wine is grown in every state, including Hawaii and Alaska. Whether it's not what you want to drink or if it's made on a scale to be exported, something like that. But we have a producer in the Finger Lakes of New York. The first AVA in the United States is in Missouri,
AVA?
The American Viticultural Area Association area. So the wine growing place like Napa or the Vineyard Valley or something like that. But the first one in the Midwest there. So, people are, and with California being in the place that it is now with real estate gone crazy.
Fires,
all the climate change, everything that's going on there, the prices have skyrocketed, which makes it kind of difficult. And the producers that we tasted through last week, we've got 3 new California producers that we're bringing on from the things that we tasted. At least as many that we turned down that with what we're doing. But some more coming. Will be here by Labor Day. Some new stuff. So from California to grow into that. But it's always fun.
Favorite region that just works with your palate.
Well, in the United States, I love the Napa Valley of Oregon.
Okay.
That's,
I've heard you talk about that one. When you
it really reminds me of when I started going out to Napa like 30 years ago, where it's more the farmers connected to the land. Not that there's anything wrong with stretch limos and bachelorette parties and things that you find in Napa. That's all great, but depending on what you're going to get out of a trip, and if you're going for wine to wine country, I like Willamette now, and it's up and coming. It's becoming more diverse with the varieties. It's not just Pinot Noir anymore. There's some other interesting varieties out there. There's some great restaurants that up until a few years ago, there were only a handful, but there's nicer hotels and all that. So it's, you can still be in a stretch limousine. You can still have a bachelorette party if you want to out there, but it's really cool.
You have a few recommendations in those, like for the people who are watching, like you have to see this.
Absolutely.
Go to this restaurant. What would you recommend?
I would go to Hazel Fern, as I mentioned before. They're special to me for a lot of different reasons. But one of the first wineries that you would come to if you were coming from Portland, so less than an hour from the Portland airport, just going down south into the valley, you'll be there. And then from there, just mosey down to McMinnville. There's some great restaurants. One of our producers, Martin Woods, has a wine bar called Hi-Fi that's right in the town of McMinnville. You could go out to the coast in about 45 minutes, which is a beautiful part of the world, totally different than the East Coast. Beaches, totally different than Poly Beach. But a great time out there.
That's crazy. Besides a glass and possibly a thing to remove the cork, what if you were going to get started in wine? I mean, what do you need? I mean,
I think that's about it.
Is that about it?
Maybe
like running shoes, you can start running.
Maybe a notebook that you can take some notes on what you thought about it. If you were starting to take it seriously and what you liked about it, what you didn't like about it.
How did you happen to pick up the wine glasses?
Yeah, so those are, I'm in love with those. Those are Gabriel glass, and that was a friend of a friend kind of connected us to that, and they weren't represented in South Carolina. But what I love about them most from Gabriel glass, they're made in Austria. They're a single piece construction, so they're more durable. And the coolest thing about it is that it's a universal style. So you don't need a set of red glasses, a set of white glasses, a set of flutes, a set of all that. And as they break, you don't have have 3 of this and 8 of these and all that.
So all that bullshit about the glass doing something for the wine, it's just...
Well, this one does it for all of them.
Really?
So it's really kind of takes the basic concept and just simplifies it. It makes it more universal. So
that's kind of cool.
It doesn't need the huge balloon, but it needs, some room. It needs, the thin edge. It needs room for the aromatics to come out, as opposed to a flute that they close it up. We're not fans of the flute.
We're not fans of the flute.
No, if there's one thing I've learned,
there's not.
Yeah. All right, so going to a restaurant, nice restaurant, ordering wine, it can be a little intimidating if you're not feeling that. What's your recommendation for like the everyday person going in, how to pick from these wine lists, and sometimes
endless.
well, Miss Kelly might be like, I don't know how to say that.
Yeah, that's I
Right.
want that one. That's
Yeah. I said just point.
Yeah.
So you could ask for help. There's tons of people out there these days, like pretty much everyone that has a serious wine program. Everybody wants to be a sommelier now. So, and it's more accessible for people to do that and to have that information available. But if nobody's on hand, narrow it down to a category and then kind of look at the price range. And don't go for the cheapest one, don't go for the most expensive one, but maybe the third cheapest one or something might be a great one for you if you have no idea.
Yeah.
So when
Ask to see the labels if anything turns you on.
Just look good. That's all.
Yeah, right.
Can you show me that?
Well, and it's also, like thinking ahead of what do you think you're going to order at the restaurant
Right.
too, or if you don't know what's a good, hey, this is going to be flexible depending on appetizer. Well, you can always switch up the glasses, I guess, in between courses. But
Absolutely. And something that's cool that I've seen some restaurants in Greenville do recently, like Gianna recently added a Coravin list. So they have options for by the glass at a much higher level. So you can get really expensive wines and have the opportunity to try them that you might not before. But a Coravin is a tool that's a CO2 cartridge and basically a needle that goes into the cork and pulls a little out, so you don't have to, it extends the life of it. You can get
Because that's definitely the hard part.
and what
It's lost.
what is your recommendation for wines? How long are they good for once you open them? White versus red?
I think they all behave a little bit differently. Just kind of generally speaking, if you seal them up tight, if you can get, there's all kinds of methods to it. Usually don't have that problem.
A lot of ways,
in my house, but sometimes you could put it in the fridge for a little while, or
What did you
store it
say?
in the
Rule of
fridge.
thumb: 3 days.
Sure. Check it every day, see how it is, if it still smells good. Some, I've had wines that will last a week, and others that fall apart on the next day. So it's hard to.
Do you think the organic
Super.
ones, or do you think they are shorter periods?
Not necessarily.
Not necessarily, okay.
Some can be even longer.
Really?
So yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
And digging into explain to, because I think that's a really interesting part of Mission Grape, but what makes a wine organic or biodynamic?
Yeah. So when we talk about organics, we're talking about not using fertilizers or herbicides or pesticides or synthetic fertilizers or anything like that. And just working with a more natural expression of wine. And like they would have made it before there were all these chemicals and different things out there. How would they accomplish the same things that the chemicals are doing? They might plant cover crops, attract beneficial insects and animals into the vineyard, but more holistic, which goes into the biodynamics, which is creating that whole dynamic biology universe within the vineyard, and all the winemaking is done in the vineyard rather than in the winery. But really concentrating on the health and the viability of the wine.
Which has got to cause the wine to, you understand then why there's a cost to it.
Sure.
Because the loss is going to be there.
Sure.
If you have that more loss.
You're probably not going to get as big of a yield as you would if you were just looking to maximize
Your grape. Or
the
product.
juice, the weight, or whatever it's sold on.
What's the biggest, I say, but I don't know, what's in the biodynamic? I know there's a lot of, you can kind of dive into some, interesting methods or practices? What's kind of the most interesting one that you've heard of?
Yeah, it's
when
part
you're
science, it's part voodoo, and it's part magic, I guess. But basically they plant, harvest, prune everything with lunar cycles. So thinking back of like Farmer's Almanac kind of situations like that.
That's just
They,
cool.
they
You
make-
know,
yeah, so that controls it versus like, hey, we got to get this out to
right.
next month. You're waiting on the cycles versus just your timeline.
Exactly.
Very
Exactly.
interesting.
That's so funny because you talk to all those old Italian guy, even that gardens, there was always some sort of superstition. You don't put, even, old Southern, you don't plant your tomatoes until, St. Joseph's Day. Or there's always some sort of superstition kind
A month
of thing.
after the frost
Yeah.
or something.
But there's some to
There's
it.
got to be,
There's gotta
There's
they've
be
gotta
had that
some-
stuff forever.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I can't imagine though just waking up one day and saying, I'm going to open up a winery and trying to figure all that out or grow. Oh, well, we've got the opportunity, Laura, we've got a lady that works
Yeah.
with us, and it's just been fun watching them. And they had a lot of loss, they had a lot of,
Sure.
but they're figuring it all
Yeah,
out.
they're on Paris Mountain and
Yeah.
have started their
whole
some-
vineyard and
have some vines and have made it into a bigger production.
yeah, and it's beautiful, but trying to do it all organic, it's a lot.
And I don't want to cut my nose off to spite my face. But, I have to sell
Yeah.
appliances, and it always cracks me up because we'll sell, and please, any vendor manufacturer, listen to me. I love everybody needs a wine reserve.
Yes,
Just
absolutely.
saying that now.
That's
Everyone needs a
like-
wine reserve. And they talk
A
about
full
a
wine
A
full
full,
wine reserve.
that's even better.
But it's so funny, and I see all this stuff, and a great Sub-Zero wine reserve, $9,000-$10,000, and folks will come in and they'll buy all this stuff. But then when you go, the idea of wine, to store wine is really eliminate light, vibration, and that stuff. To store wine, like Kelly was saying, you put it in the refrigerator. You can do it in your house. You got a closet.
What's the best method of storing wine?
You got a closet. You can just jam it in there, right?
I think as long as it's a steady temperature,
That's-
you're not going up through spikes of hot and cold, something like that. A steady temperature that's not in sunlight, in direct sunlight. It's not on top of the fridge. That's
shaking.
Anything like that is.
So that would be
pretty
why
good.
everybody needs a wine.
Everyone needs a wine, yeah.
It's exactly. Dan.
And stored on its side, so the cork is still moist, so the cork doesn't dry out. If it
Is
were
cork still a
standing
thing? Synthetic cork, screw tops. Is that
Yeah,
all?
that's
is that?
up, still very much a thing, and very much an expense that's going up. That's raising the cost with glass and corks. We're talking about tariffs and fuel and all the things that are just working against those inexpensive bottles of wine that we love so much, the gems that we all love so much. But
So does a screw top, in your opinion, should you? Is there any rule of thumb behind if it's a screw top?
I don't think so.
Okay.
For some wines, I think it's great. For a young, fresh wine that's meant to be drunk, young and fresh, great.
It's the one.
For ones that you want to lay down, maybe not a screw cap.
Okay.
All right.
That's
But not necessarily, just more of a curiosity. And it depends on if it's something bad that goes in to the bottle, it's going to be bad coming out. It's not going to get better. So,
But going into that, what is the difference? And you've kind of touched on some of that, but what is the difference between a $20 bottle of wine and a $250 bottle of wine?
well,
And what is the sweet point after you answer that? Where is that sweet, that medium?
I think you can find great $20 bottles.
Sure.
One of my favorites that the Cook Station has this summer is the Brisa Suave Vino Verde.
Yes, that's on our by the glass menu too.
It's organic, it's biodynamic, it's certified vegan.
It's good.
It's fresh. It comes in a liter-sized bottle.
It's good.
Everybody says that.
I mean,
it's
I'm
lower
a Pinot
than-
Grigio. I'm the least, true knowledge.
Maybe branching out to a Sauvignon Blanc every now and then, but
that one, I mean, and that's just easy to tell people about too. That was great. Sorry,
a great crowd
I like
pleaser.
it. It's a crowd pleaser.
But looking into factors that can increase the cost of the wine, the real estate, like California being through the roof, is kind of crazy. And then if you look at how the wine is made and how it's stored or aged, like if it's made using French oak barrels or something, those are very expensive and going up also. So a good French oak barrel, it wouldn't be unusual to spend $2,000 on a barrel, and how much wine comes out of that. And
are barrels? Can you reuse barrels, or is it a one and done?
And it's really kind of like the spice rack for the winemaker. So you can get barrels, and depending on the size of the barrel, what forest the wood is harvested from. So there's French oak, there's American oak, just like grapes. Each one has its own unique characteristics and imparts different flavors and has a different grain, so there's a different oxygen exchange.
Like a different method, like talk about the grills that you sell, like a smoker versus propane versus charcoal. It's going to add different flavors and cook it different.
And you get the most flavor imparted from when they're new, the first use, a little bit less the second, a little bit less the third.
Wow.
And then you got to replace it or just use it as a neutral kind of vessel.
Yeah.
So you're still getting some of that oxygen exchange, but it's not imparting the flavors of vanilla or spice or any of the other things that oak might contribute to it. So they could be toasted on the inside. They can be light toast or medium toast. So it's really the winemaker's, what he does with it. He might have in this vintage, you might have one new barrel and 10 old barrels, and buy a new barrel every year and just rotate. So there's a little bit of that going on, but then there's, just that little bit of flavor being imparted.
So just like wine, I'm sure there's different parts of Danny. I know you talk about wine. What else do you do, man? I mean, because I see you all the time, and over the last year and a half, I talked to you about this kind of crap and stuff.
Right.
You got a big motorcycle, boat. What do you do?
Skydive? We were talking about
do you do anything?
Emmie, would you get my banjo, please?
Yes,
I'm just
actually.
kidding. That's what we were talking about earlier. I don't know. These days, I'm really into yoga.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Reason why?
Changed my life because I like to feel good. As it turns out, I gave it a shot 8 years ago and changed my life, and I love it.
Huh? That's kind of cool.
Yeah, and I love to travel. In addition to all the great places that I get to go for work.
Yeah, that's that work.
Got to go to Italy again.
Yeah.
I was just in Croatia a couple weeks ago and loved it. Had a great time. There was no work involved that week at all.
Good.
So working out and drinking. That's pretty much.
Yoga, drinking.
Well, I mean, it shows
working
that,
out,
and Danny's
drinking.
been on a health journey too along.
Yes,
I feel like
yes.
everyone is kind of gearing towards that more healthy lifestyle, but
I'm
it shows
not.
that the product that you're
Yes,
selling, you
I'm
still
doubling
stand
down.
behind
Absolutely.
that as a healthier alternative. Like, you can still enjoy a glass of wine, and
Right.
when you're bringing in the wines that are being made the right way without all the additives and preservatives and things like that, it's still a healthy alternative.
And that's really the basis of Mission Grape. So Matt has over 20 years of banking experience, but he's always loved wine. And his wife Carly went through a bout with cancer, and then dealing with that and talking to doctors at Duke and all this, they encouraged her to, keep wine as part of their lifestyle, but just doing it mindfully and drinking the right things and being mindful of what you're putting in the body. But that started the quest to get all these organic producers together and bring them to the table. But that's been the whole focus of the business since day one.
Huh. That's kind of cool. I did not know that. I knew about Matt's wife with the cancer thing, but I didn't really tie that to the business.
Even though it makes complete sense.
And
Once
now
you
that I
get
hear
it,
that, it
it's
makes
like
complete sense.
And going through that, they decided that, you know, he wanted to do something for himself, and now is the time to pursue passion and quit the bank and started the wine distributor, and here we are today.
Yeah, Danny, you do at least one wine dinner with us a month, at least, sometimes more, and you help us out with our wine tastings and flights. But I guess tell everybody what to expect coming to a wine dinner at the Cook Station.
Yeah.
And your role in that.
So we paired up with usually 5 courses, 5 different wines that we have, and the chef will talk about the meal that he's prepared, or he or she has prepared, and all the fun gadgets and tools and kitchen things that
Squeeze it in there, Danny D.
Absolutely. But it's really a great opportunity to showcase everything that you can buy at the Cook Station. And so in between courses, I'll talk about the wine, and I'll also walk around and talk to individual people if there's a question that they maybe didn't want to ask in front of the group.
Because there's always that little bit of downtime, like in between, because they're trying to clean up, get it to the next. So they do get their private time too.
Absolutely.
Like
but they're intimate enough that I can walk around and introduce myself to everyone at the beginning, and then follow up with questions and go around and show the labels and really give them a great experience.
What are the common questions? Are there common questions you get like all the time?
There's lots of questions about sulfites or different things like that, which is a fairly common and valid question, which will make you feel bad.
They will.
It's the sulfites, not the 5 bottles I drank that give me the hangover.
So there's a fine line. Stay hydrated, number one, no matter what. But and sulfites are a natural byproduct of fermentation. So there's going to be trace amounts of sulfites in everything. It's when winemakers, producers start adding additional sulfites to make it homogeneous, so that it's the same for all the grocery stores and the wide scale production, that it really starts messing with you and giving you like histamine reactions are not uncommon from that, but pretty much everything that we work with is way below the threshold of detectability when you're looking at parts per million of sulfites, and winemakers typically will add just a tiny little bit to help stabilize the wine, keep the color intact, and make it able to transport from there to here.
So that's a common question, is whether they just want to know
Like,
if it has it in it.
Or
so that's
And
the
if they're
common
bad or
question,
not,
yeah.
the effects.
Okay, I see that. So that's the thing. Huh. I guess that.
Is that why I feel bad?
Yeah, it's
After I drink 5 bottles of wine.
Now, a customer coming into the Cook Station, because you've really laid out something beautiful about the mission behind Mission Grape.
Yeah, that's
right?
kind of cool.
Is it apparent to the customer which wines are Mission Grape represented wines in the Cook Station on the shelf?
For the most,
And then,
I always go to turn the bottle around. If you see the T for T Edwards, it's definitely a Mission Grape wine, but then you'll have some outside of that as well.
Absolutely. So our main import partner is T. Edward, based in New York City. So we get the opportunity to go up there every once in a while too. And
Here
taste some
goes
wine.
again.
Again, not working.
But they're great, and they have a national portfolio of wines that we quickly became their number one customer. So we get some pretty cool things that don't make it outside of Manhattan and South Carolina. Doesn't make sense, but that's what we're doing.
That's a good thing.
That's neat
Talk
what
about.
Greg said, though, the idea of Mission Grapes. The mission isn't really part of your sales. That's a personal mission for Matt, and you guys know.
Sure.
But you don't wear that out on the sleeve. It's not on.
If it comes up when we're talking at a dinner or something like that, if it's appropriate, then we'll certainly include that.
Well, I think it's just like getting to know all of the stories behind the places, the people that you'll buy from. It's a story that connects you to the winery or the makers, and it connects us to the distributor of it all, because we know that the quality and what goes into it matters. That's the whole reason this business was created. So you can kind of go into it without as much of a speculation of what's doing this. Like, we just know that you're going to bring in quality products, so it makes it easy on our side.
Yeah, makes it easy for me too.
Yeah,
you're like, I'm looking for organic wines. Cool, that's my whole portfolio.
Yeah,
take your pick.
Which one?
All right, and now going into, we do a quick. Anything else, Greg?
Are there some myths that you often have to dispel for people at wine dinners and things? I mean, it's like assumptions that people have made that,
not all Rieslings are sweet. We can ask your mother-in-law about that. Right?
Touche.
But things like that. Lambruscos aren't from a jug necessarily so there's some wines that have some stigma attached to it from over the years that the younger generation might not know what I'm talking about, but people our age probably
absolutely
know a little bit about it.
Yeah.
Now, from Emmie mentioned earlier about trends, and you talked about the organic growth sort of behind the scenes, but is there it seems like rosés got a second birth like in the last 10 years or so.
Fat Nats, orange.
Yeah. So is there something on the horizon that you're seeing, like a growing popularity?
Rosé has been pretty interesting to watch because 15, 20 years ago, as soon as somebody saw a pink wine, it's White Zinfandel, and it's going to be sweet, and I hate it, get it out of here, kind of thing. But I think some of my missionary work over the past 20-something years, telling people what it can be. Anyway, it exploded in growth, but now I think it's kind of plateaued out. But it's now a year-round option. It's not just for summertime.
Yeah, I used to.
So I think it's kind of at its peak or where it should be, but is more year-round than just the summertime seasonality. There's all kinds of new styles that are coming out, and most of them are old style, like throwback to old styles, like orange wines, white grapes, made like a red wine on the skin, so it extracts some tannin and some color to it, a little bit different. Some really cool examples of those out there. I think most of the ones that we work with are very clean. There's some funky, not great examples out there. And the same with pet nats or pétillant naturels, what the French would call them, but using the ancestral method of making sparkling wine where the juice is bottled during its fermentation and it's still an active living thing. And sometimes might appear cloudy or have some particles of sediment going on there. Nothing to be alarmed about. It's intentional. Just all the good probiotics in there for you.
We'll go to our secret recipe questions, and this is just general. You can do quick. You can dive into it as much as you want. But what are you binge watching right now, or do you watch TV?
Binge watching. So on the plane, I on the way back from Croatia, I watched Ripley which is Talented Mr. Ripley, the movie, the book. But this is a newer version. I don't know if you've seen it, but I thought it was great. It takes place in Italy, one of my favorite places. The cinematography is stunning. It's a great story, and different than the movie and different than the book. So that's been my latest that I watched.
Do you cook at home?
Never.
Okay. Well, I was gonna say.
Amen.
Well, then we'll skip some of these. What is your, and this could be working it or being a patron, what has been one of the most memorable dining experiences you've ever had?
One back in the Deborah's days, Erwin Penland hosted an event called Food for Thought for a couple of years, and in that there was a big dinner where the biggest chefs in the world were at one table that I was serving. So it was Thomas Keller and Michael Mina and Grant Achatz from Alinea and Daniel Boulud all at one table.
Wow.
That's pretty big.
I don't think it gets much bigger than that as far as serving like that. As far as being on that side of the table and being on the other side of the table a long time ago, Carl and John Mitchell and myself had an opportunity to go to the French Laundry out in Napa with Axel Schug from Schug Winery, and he had raided his dad's wine cellar and brought a couple of special bottles, including Joseph Phelps. I think it was a 73 Syrah. That was the first varietally bottled California wine. So just the experiences like that. And then there's also, I could tell you about being in Italy in Nona's kitchen and having experiences like that can't be bought. So it's been a great run.
He said he can't be bought. So
Yeah.
not bought. So I don't know if we can ever go.
When you were like 10 years old, what'd you want to be?
Fireman.
I don't know. I think I always thought about the lifestyle that I wanted to live rather than the means to how to get there.
Yeah.
And I think
That's the
Good
greatest
answer.
It's always depends on the lifestyle I wanted to live. Fast cars.
Champagne wishes.
Caviar dreams.
And now I eat, drink, and travel. So I think
you
I
nailed it.
Yeah.
Nailed it.
And you don't have to cook.
And I don't
That
have
is hilarious. Just thought about the lifestyle.
That was a great way of putting that.
What's your biggest pet peeve?
Just in general?
Sure, or if it comes to wine,
You looked at me.
Yeah.
As soon as she said it,
This
I
guy
noticed.
right
You're just staring me right down.
What's your biggest pet peeve in the wine
I
industry?
think when people cut the foil in the wrong place. So it should go underneath that lip, not on the top. Don't rip the foil off. Don't go through the foil. All that. Just a nice clean
We have to
line.
start drinking more.
A nice
Yeah.
clean line around the edge.
Okay. Do you have any phobias?
I'm not a fan of snakes.
Okay.
Whoa, that's my favorite. I mean, I sweat. Like that's I
Like,
do really do well with that
It's
one.
like none of them.
Yeah, me either. And I don't care if
there's-
they do good. That's not the good things.
Yeah.
What was
As long as
your
they're not in my house or around my house, then they can do whatever they want.
or you don't have to see them.
Yes.
What was your favorite song to dance to in high school?
Oh, in high school,
He's a new wave guy.
totally.
I can see that.
Totally. Gosh, you're taking me back to the 80s, Eddie. I don't know.
I can't remember the names.
First one that comes to mind.
All right, artist. Don't even think of the song.
I was a big REM guy back
All right.
in
I
the
can see
80s.
What did you listen to on the way over here?
On the way over here, Aretha Franklin.
All right. I like it.
We listened to a lot of
That's
that.
us.
Kind. That's us too.
My other job in high school was I worked at the record bar in the mall. So I got to go to all the shows that were going through Columbia at the Coliseum. And
Again, the lifestyle.
Yeah.
All about the
He
lifestyle.
figured it
Speaking
out.
into Green Streets and Rockefellers, it was pretty cool back then.
Well, I could talk about, I'm like, being from Columbia too, even more, I feel like it's changing there quickly in the culinary world. But in Greenville, there's, from your days at Deborah's and all that we've talked about, what has been, what do you think the biggest change in the culinary industry has been in Greenville?
I think all the attention that has come our way, and the quality of people that are coming here with experiences from all over the world, and just it just keeps coming, and I love it.
Wrapping everything up.
Oh, I didn't have one more question.
Oh dear.
You gotta go. I'm curious, like, I've been with a lot of people who, when we've been to Total Wines of the World or a wine shop or anything like that, they buy the wine because they like the label.
That's a big part of it.
So
the label is telling the story of the wine to somebody that doesn't know it necessarily. So where does it come from? Who's making it? What's the brand identity?
captures the personality.
Captures the personality of the wine, of the people making it.
And there's a lot of great backstories to the labels
Almost
now.
all of them have some kind of meaning onto it. One of my favorites, limited edition. You've got some of their wines, but in the Crush series, they have Braille on the label, which is really cool. They're all about texture and wanted to bring that into the label as well.
I bet those have been the best
There's one.
stories.
What was the?
So they made fun of
There
the
one
handicap?
winemaker. The
Is that what
color.
they did?
There's the color on each label. It was like a square. Do you know what I'm talking about? And it had. There was a reason behind each color. It was like the exact color of the grape or something. Like
Oh yeah, we have a Riesling producer who there's a blue label, a green label. The green was to represent the color of the skin of the grape at the time of harvest. And then there's a blue one that represents the blue slate that it's grown on. It's basically like a color swatch, like a Pantone color swatch on the label that each had a different meaning to.
So it's not necessarily bad to choose a bottle by the label.
Not necessarily.
But you can go wrong.
But you can, depending on where you are. So I think ultimately shopping at an independent retailer like the Cook Station, who's working with smaller production wines that are honestly made, like all the ones that we work with, and then pick within that.
Right.
But see what speaks to you. But that's absolutely a big part of how wines are chosen, especially at lower price range items, especially. But think about it. I mean, do you want a cartoon label, or do you want something more traditional? What's your mood? What are you serving it with?
Who are you giving it to as a gift?
Who are you
That's-
entertaining?
Well, we use that one a lot, you know, for baskets. Does this look right with it? I mean, does
Right.
it look, you know, we do try to come, but definitely a marketing guy over there that asked that question, because I'm sure there's a lot of money spent in trying to figure
Absolutely.
Figure
Another
that
cool event that I do with in Judson bookstore, they have a really cool event that they do once a month called Page Pairings, where they rearrange the store and they have 6 stations and each has a book and a bottle of wine. And Ashley and I get together, and sometimes it's, okay, this book takes place in Italy, so we have an Italian wine. Sometimes
You gotta stretch.
sometimes
You gotta
it
stretch.
stretches into some deep connections that take some explanation, but it's kind of fun. But another way that we try to tell the story with the label and the book in that case.
wine.
We just had Terry earlier
Yeah.
and talked about y'all's lunch.
Yes.
What is it called? Runaway.
Runaway Friday.
That's it. Yeah.
Are back on where she does 3 courses, and we have 3 wines, and then you run away from work and don't go back on Friday afternoon.
Love it.
Yep.
It's been incredibly successful, and there's definitely people who want to drink wine on Friday afternoons.
For sure.
Yeah, that is a big thing. It always amazes me come 10:30 in the morning when somebody
People
sits
out there.
down.
Sure.
And, I'm like, I can't drink till 5. I can't, everything.
Well, I think it goes back to as well that Greenville is becoming a destination. People are traveling here for fun, not just work or visiting family. So that Thursday, we've seen it in our classes and events. I mean, we do wine dinners on a Tuesday, a Wednesday, days that used to not be a day of like, you go out and have 5 glasses of wine or 5 tastings of wine at least. So,
well, in our luncheons, they all drink wine and then they buy it. I mean, like that's
great.
It's the best.
so I think that's helped with the industry, the daytime drinking too. So, thank you so much for joining us today.
My
We
pleasure.
appreciate it. We value our relationship with you and Mission Grape and everyone else there. You are always wonderful, so we appreciate it. As always, you can email us at askachef@thecookstation.com if you have any special guests you'd like to see or questions you'd like for us to ask a chef. But thanks for tuning in today.
Or a wine guy. Ask a wine
Ask a
guy.
wine guy.
Send us a
Sure.
wine. Send us wine questions. We'll forward them over.
All right.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank
Great.
you.